9.3 The Direction Relationship. In spiritual direction, two people freely choose to walk with each other along the way. The position of the spiritual director is different from both that of the therapist or counselor or priest. Bani Shorter distinguishes between the roles of therapist and priest. Quoting Saint Mercurius of Egypt, "The moment when an experience is lived is a moment when we can't observe it, but it is mirrored in the soul. At that moment of no time, which is all time, the priest holds the soul as a mirror to the eternal, while the therapist holds the person to the mirror of his soul. In this way, the therapist is true to his profession as companion of persons, while the work of the priest is to be companion and mediator of God. We stand on either side of the threshold, therapist and clergy. The therapist stands on the side of the one who is being initiated, but the priest stands on the side of the initiator. The one initiates an individual to the discovery of meaning in symbol. The other offers meaning as symbol. In actual practice, and with human compassion admittedly, our roles overlap, since inevitably at such moments the symbol is hardly distinguishable from the hand which holds it. But in essence, these roles are not the same. Here, the therapist is seen as a companion to the person, whereas the priest is seen as a mediator of God. The spiritual director, whether ordained or lay, stands in a paradoxical position, that of companion to the person, and also that of companion and mediator of God. In spiritual direction, the relationship is one of equality and inequality. It is equal insofar as the persons stand in friendship before God. It is unequal when the director is called to act as mediator of God, a position which demands both the affirmation of God's love and the confrontation of sin. The integrity of the relationship will require at times the prophetic word and stance. Spiritual direction is personal. If someone is to be enabled to plumb the depths of his or her soul and share both the light and the dark, an atmosphere of love and acceptance needs to be fostered. To behold the dark aspects of one's being, or to hear the word of confrontation and not be shattered, it is necessary to know that one is safe, loved, and supported. Within the relationship, there needs to be freedom. Although the focus of the encounter is the growth and development of one person, the relationship is reciprocal. Both persons are engaged, both are changed. Thus, as they grow together, the original relationship is transformed, and it may eventually be necessary for a person to change to another director. In a mysterious manner, if we are open to the movements of the Spirit, God leads us to, and also away from our companions on the way. The spiritual director is not a magician who provides instant answers, the current roadmap for the one and only route, or transform a paper wish into the gold of God's will. Rather, the director is a living signpost, often asking disconcerting questions and equally struggling with the realities of being a contemplative, a God-bearer. Ultimately, the director will guide more by witness of being than by witness of word. Thus, would-be spiritual directors need to begin with their own interior lives of prayer. Directors need soul friends too. The life of prayer and spiritual direction, if they are Christian, are not a flight from the world. The descent into the depths of being in prayer involves struggle. As we encounter the dark aspects of ourselves and claim them as our own, we withdraw them as projections on others. In the encounter with ultimate reality, we discover the corporate we. In our roots, we are recreated and reconnected in relationship to ourselves, to our neighbors, and to God. Therefore, we need to be cautious about pre-packaged Christian auguries. Each of us is unique, and our response and gifts of love will be different. It is easy to be pulled into activity and service for the Lord from a sense of guilt. Out of our silence, out of our stillness, we may be called to the unexpected, to sing a new song to the Lord. Although spiritual direction generally takes place in a one-to-one encounter, it ultimately has implications for the whole Christian community. In whatever our life situation, we are called to be God-bearers. Effective action begins with the contemplative stillness and silence in the depths of our beings. There, our relationship with the living God is woven. Through the ministry of spiritual direction, this relationship may be nurtured. Although each of us is engaged in a unique life journey which leads through personal minefields and oases, we do not travel alone in isolation from the rest of society. Thus, the ministry of spiritual direction is ultimately involved with the co-inherence of the whole company of Christians on the way.